If you're just joining us, I am doing 31 days of tutorials in the month of December, all very party, holiday, festive, New Year's Eve appropriate, just to play around and to rediscover some of the palettes that you already have in your collection. And I'm busting out a relatively new one and an old one for this tutorial today. And I am using the Naked Basics 2, and also one of the first high-end palettes I ever purchased. This is the Cargo Let's Meet in Paris palette. It is a stunning palette. It is very near and dear to me. I actually purchased this palette for myself, and then I went back and got it for two friends, or for my sister and a friend, and I love it. And it's such a festive holiday palette, and I just think it's stunning. And I think a lot of people purchase this in I think I got this in 2013. A lot of people purchase this palette and it just hangs out in your collection because, you know, it's a lot of glittery, shimmery shades that I'm about to throw. But you know what? It's time to bust it out and bring it out. And with a little bit of help from the Naked 2 Basics, I created this kind of like Ice Queen glam look. So it's got definitely some retro feel to it with the deep, dark, vampy lip. You definitely don't have to go this dark. The wing and the lashes, and I just really like how it turned out. But if you want to see how I got this look, then stick around and we'll see after the tutorial. Alright everybody, so I've already carved out my eyebrow, so I'm going to go in with my MAC Soft Ochre paint pot, and just with my finger just kind of spread this all over the lid. We want a really nice blank canvas. Then going into the Cargo Let's Meet in Paris palette, I'm going to take a Sephora blending brush and I'm going to pick up this really pretty beigey pink shade called Baguette, and we're just going to start setting the primer and creating a base for the rest of our shadows. Now we are using two palettes today, so I'm going to pick up a Wet n Wild Fluffy Eyeshadow brush. This is just their blending brush, and we're going to go into Frisk, this is a very cool tone look, and we want to keep it that way. This is a great palette for this type of look, and we're just going to pick up Frisk and start blending that into our transition area. This is a very soft shade, and it can be built up. So, you know, less is more at first, and build it up to the depth that you want. And now taking a BR250 brush, we're going to go into the darkest shape in the palette, which is called Undone. And again, we're going to build up just a little, or take a little bit at first, and we're going to really place that color right there and then work it into the crease. And I'm keeping this really, kind of digging this brush into my crease. That sounds wrong, but that's kind of the idea. And then once we have the color where we want it, we can start blending it up. So I did go a little bit more dramatic than I intended to today, but that's okay. Less is more. Start out with a lighter hand, and then you can build it up for the desired effect. And then just going back into with that fluffy brush with no more product on, I'm gonna start blending out Undone. We're gonna leave it there for now, and if we want to go back in again and deepen it up, we definitely can. Now for the fun part, we're going to go back into the Meet Me in Paris palette, and we're going to pick up this color right here, which is called Louvre. It's a beautiful, just gorgeous silvery blue. This palette is definitely, I know a lot of people picked it up, and it's really not a complete palette, but it is just a beautiful, what I like to think of as an accessories palette. But I'm just picking that up on a flat shader brush. This one's from Beige Cosmetics, and I'm just going to wet that shadow with my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. And then I'm going to just start packing this on the lid. And I'm going to take it all the way to the outer crease, because again, we can blend it in with more Undone if we need to. So again, just kind of getting right up in the crease. And then my favorite thing to do when applying an eyeshadow wet is going back in and picking up more of that shadow. And I just patted it over the shadow that we applied wet already, and it just adds some more opacity to the look. And now just using that same brush, I'm going to go into this beautiful shade right here, which is called Macaroon, which is a very like soft, pale, cool toned gold. And we're just going to pop this right on that very inner corner. And we're going to be generous with this because we want this look to be cool toned and icy and just open and bright. And I do want to deepen this up a little bit on the outer corner, so I'm going to go back in with that BR250 brush and some more of that Undone shade. This is going to help kind of tone it down in case any of Louvre or Macaroon got too high. So again, we're placing it low, and then once we've placed the product, you can start blending it up. This is one of those, the Meet Me in Paris palettes is one of the first high-end palettes I ever got. I absolutely love it. And I love bringing it out around the holiday time because I think it just is so festive. Now I'm gonna go back in with that Sephora brush, and I'm gonna pick up Skimp from the Naked Basics palette, and we're gonna just kind of add in a little bit more luminosity right underneath the brow bone and just blend out those deeper shades. And again, you might need to go back in with that BR250. I didn't put any more product on it. I'm just gonna blend it back up. All right, guys, now let's work on the lower lash line. I'm gonna go in with my Rimmel, just making sure I'm in focus, sorry guys. I'm gonna go in with my Rimmel Scandalize in Nude, and I'm just gonna line my lower waterline. We want this to be, again, an open and bright look. This is my go-to eyeliner for the inner rim if I'm not doing black and not trying to poke myself out in the eye. Since I decided to poke myself in the eye, I'm gonna give my under eye, my lower lash line, a break for just a minute. And I'm gonna go in and do my wing, and I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild H2O proof liquid liner. I love this. This has just become my absolute go-to liquid eyeliner, and we are going to do a wing today. I did like a moderate wing. Do whatever is comfortable for you. This look would look beautiful with an extreme liner. It'd look beautiful with just something along the lower lash line. Whatever you're comfortable with. You could even just do lashes with this look, and I think it would be stunning. Guys, for lashes today, I've just created my own lashes. Can you see those? And what I've done is I've just taken 2 pairs of Demi Wispies, and I cut that front half off of one of them, and then I just stacked them on top of each other. So I'm gonna pop those on. You know, guys, it would probably help if I put mascara on before I put my lashes on. So I'm just gonna take my pure fully charged mascara and just coat my lashes really quick, and then pop my lashes on. Guys, if you have a messy lash application like I just did, don't worry about it. This is why lash glue dries clear, and this is why we always go over our lash band with our liner, so never fear. All right, so while this nonsense is drying, we're gonna go ahead and finish up the lower lash line. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Essence Fine Crease Brush, and I'm gonna take Undone, and I'm just gonna very, very lightly add some color to the lower lash line. We're just going to take it and kind of connect it up to the wing. And then with that same brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit more of Frisk. Ooh, probably help if I was in frame. Sorry about that, guys. And with that same brush, just blend it out, and this is going to smoke it out, smooth it out, and just soften it up. Alright guys, for my lower lashes today, I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Megalength mascara and just really add, this is just perfect for the lower lash line, and it's really going to help balance out those upper lashes. Alright, again, that eye is still drying. It's kind of a mess, but a little technique that I've really been enjoying that really, I think, accentuates the lash line and just makes them seem heavier and more full is to just draw a little shadow that mimics the lash line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a small angled brush and just dip it into Undone, and then I'm just going to kind of go from the corner of my eye and just kind of stamp very lightly a little shadow, just like that. So nothing, it's almost like you don't even notice it or see it unless you're looking, but it just gives, I think, a really pretty effect, and I've really been enjoying that little technique. So a little tip there. Alright guys, so I've already done my foundation and concealer, but let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the face. So I'm going to go in with Sculpt from MAC on my BRC S25 brush. I'm just going to carve out my cheeks. And because this is kind of a wintry theme type look, I do want to highlight in some strategic areas, but other than that, I want everything to be relatively matte. So that includes blush, that includes contour. I'm not going to do any bronzer today, but I am going to kind of darken up around my forehead a little bit just to add some dimension because things out of control. You can do a more structured contour if you like, but I'm just going for something a little bit softer. I'm just going to use that same brush, and I'm going to go into my Becca Blush with Light palette, and I'm going to pick up Wisteria, which is just a beautiful kind of cool toned pinky flush to the cheeks type of blush. And I'm going to really concentrate that around the apples of my cheeks because I want to give that vibe of I just came in from the cold and my cheeks are rosy. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to deposit most of the color there, and then once I do, I'll blend it back very, very softly. Now before we do our highlighter, I am going to go in and set the rest of my face and just blend everything together. I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and I'm taking incandescent light and radiant light from my Ambient Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder palette. And if you wanted to, this does give you enough of a natural glow to where you could leave it alone, but we all know that I'm not going to do that. So since we're going for that really kind of glam, icy feel, I'm going to actually use my Bella Eyes Gel Powder Eyeshadow in Bella Diamond, and I'm just going to pick it up on a fluffy fake NARS brush. And I'm going to kind of focus that right on the apples of my cheeks and then work back. So this is just a beautiful icy white highlighter, and it's like less than $5, I believe. It's pretty good. And I'm just gonna go in with a more concentrated brush. This is just an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush, and I'm just gonna pick up that same highlighter and just take it down the nose. Cupid's bow and chin, you guys know the drill. And I might just take just a little bit more just to really intensify it. All right, now before we do lips, I'm just gonna set my face with my Photo Finish Primer Water. And nothing says winter to me like the deepest, darkest, vampiest lip you can possibly get. So I'm gonna go in with my Tattoo Junkie lip paint in Vixen, which is just a deep, dark vampy purple. Love it. Alright guys, you definitely don't have to go this deep and dark, but I love this type of look with a dark vampy lip. But that's the tutorial, guys. Alright everybody, so this is the finished look. Again, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you like it. I know it's a little bit different. You know, we've got just overridingly cool tones. This is definitely different for me, but I really, really like how it turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. I'm like pleasantly surprised with this one. Again, you don't have to go this dark with the lip. I just love a deep dark vampy lip, and there is nothing that says winter to me like a cool toned eye with a deep dark vampy like purpley lip. I just, for some reason, that's just my winter vibe. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Again, if you recreate any of these looks, tag me on Instagram, Ebby Loves Makeup. I would love to see what you guys come up with. I hope you guys are enjoying this video, and be sure to check out my channel tomorrow for the new one. But as always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, playing with makeup with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, have a rocking week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.